Hello and welcome back to the 24 Hours of Sonoma Segment 6 here at the Sonoma Speedway. If you are just joining us, the number 55 machine of Alex Miller has been in the lead for a good portion of this event, especially as of late. Near the back here, we got a close battle for the second place position between three drivers. There's Alonso in the 47, Onesto in the 113, and Haynes in the 76. They're all running in a train over here as they're trying to work their way up to the race leader. Haynes making a pass to the outside, not going to get that momentum. Onesto and Alonso are going to keep with each other, as Haynes is going to lose ground on them. Onesto is really on the back bumper of Hergel Alonso. He may have a chance to make the pass soon. He's got a couple of good passing zones to catch up at, but passing has been difficult today. A lot of wrecks have been caused by drivers, trying to pass in the wrong place. As Alonso is going to keep that preferred line. Onesto still trying to peek around. He looks around to the outside. Alonso is going to cut down, and he's going to gain a little bit of momentum there. But wait a second, Alonso is going down pit road, so I'm not sure why he was blocking so heavily. And that's going to leave Onesto up into the second place position. Haynes falls behind in third. There is Dom Capps in the number 11 machine. He will be your top 5. Sorry, there's Jacob Crago. He will actually be your top 5. Let's take a look at the rest of the field. There is the 45 of Frederick Gabot. Stavas Cortez in 7th place. He keeps moving up some spots. There's a 26 of Dante Lemieux. Michael Norman, he's off the lead lap in 11th. Charles Sanford rounds out your top 10. He's also a lap off the pace. Eugene DeMax is in the 98. Then there's Ryan Fitzy and the 13 machine of Naira Antiman. Alonso back on track. He drops all the way back to the 9th place position. He is off cycle with his pit stops. He's hoping that will help him in the late going. Taking a look here at the 55 of Miller. He's actually closing in on this lap traffic, so this could be an interesting development, especially for Joseph Onesto. That might give him an opportunity to catch up, should he struggle getting by these two lap machines. Antiman had troubles early on in the event. Fitzy was leading at the beginning of this event before he got sent off track. So Fitzy, this is mostly a game of survival. So that the 49 car, run by Painter Alaxico Racing, can continue in the event. Ben Gerhard would be the next driver in the machine, with Annie Thomas following after it. Gabot starting to catch up to Jacob Crago. This will be a battle for the top 5 if Gabot can close the gap. Coca-Cola machine having a decent effort today. Hasn't been performing out front, but he's been staying in this. He's been surviving, and that's really the key here. We are in segment 6, yes, but there's still 2 more segments. That's a total of 6 hours after this, so why rack up your equipment here? As Gabot still tries to catch up, see if there's any more battles on the racetrack. And it looks like everyone's a little spaced out at the moment. This is probably your closest pack, from 2nd all the way back to the 7th place position. Though Cortez is kind of on the tail end of, being in this group and being caught by himself. These lap times, Miller is a second faster than these lap traffic cars, so he will catch up to him eventually. You can see from Antiman's point of view. And whoa, Antiman runs a little wide in the 13 machine. Almost got that car off the track. Antiman's been complaining that this machine's been difficult handling. They've made multiple stops down pit road to try and mediate it, but still struggling in that number 13 machine all day. Here comes Miller in the 55. running with the Ant Motorsports, Anthony Lopez and Stephen Pollard III as teammates. Miller hoping to get it done for his team in this segment. Now, for those wondering, this is actually going to be the last segment for all of these drivers with the exception of two. Jacob Crago and Naira Antiman. Both of them are running on two-person teams, so instead of cycling through the three, they've been going 1-2, 1-2, so they will make a start in segment number 8. But for everyone else in this field, this is their last opportunity to win a segment here today. Miller, hoping that he can end off with a bang, hand it off to Lopez and have him do well in the next round. It's going to be those secondary drivers that are going to really get it done. As Antiman's been really struggling with that turn. She's been getting off track right there. Just been clipping that turn as Fitzy is going to make the trip down pit road. And so will Miller. So Miller making a pit stop. What will Onesto do? Will he stay out? Will he come down? I think... Oh, he was kind of motioning towards pit road. Maybe see if he could trick some drivers to going down with him. But he's going to stay on track. Everyone else called his bluff. So Onesto going to take this opportunity. I believe that'll put him in the lead for this lap. Yes, it will. So Onesto going to lead a lap here today in the Golf machine. Haynes has been trying to make that outside work. I haven't seen many drivers be able to get it done out there. There's a couple early on in the event, but I'm not even sure if some of those drivers are still around in the race. Let's see if Fitzy and Miller can get off pit road. They will. And I think they will get off without issue. DeMax and Alonso. A little too far behind. Alonso trying to make the pass on DeMax. It was a little dicey there. It's not one of the best spots for passing. So Alonso going to stay behind him. Crago sits on the tail end of the lead lap. Onesto in the 113. He's going to go down pit road this time, but Haynes and the rest are not. So car number 74. Sorry, car number 76 of Jake Haynes is going to take the race lead here in Sonoma. I'll have to see how this will cycle out with pit stops, because what drivers have been doing is they've been trying to work different pit strategies, trying to see if they could figure out a way to get themselves away from the rest of the pack so that they're in a steady lead. So far, I haven't been able to see many drivers that have been able to get that done, at least, for a long time. Miller seems to be the one that's the closest to doing that. If he can cycle out way ahead of everyone on pit stops here today, then that will make things look really good for the later parts of this segment. There is Haynes out front. Onesto trying to re-enter the racetrack. Sanford has made the trip down pit road. So we'll have to see. Will Haynes go down pit road this lap, or will it go to another driver? Cap's running a little wide. He may be motioning toward pit lane. Yep, Caps is going to go down pit road. Haynes, Gabot, and Cortez are going to stay out, along with Lemieux and Norman. Norman off the lead lap, so he's not going to be a real factor in this event. He's mostly just trying to make laps, keep himself in contention. Let's find Miller. He's currently scored in 7th place. Fitzy is off that lead lap. So Haynes with a considerable gap over Gabot, but not something that can't be made up. And Cortez trying to stay with them. Cortez is someone that really needs to be off cycle with these drivers, in a positive way. So that way when the going is tough, he can catch up there. He hasn't been the fastest car on track. He's had his troubles today. But Cortez getting things done in the 89 machine. He's been able to stay inside the top 10 and stay out of trouble for the most part. Man, it looks like Jake Haynes staying out yet another lap. Gabot will as well, but Cortez He feels he needs to come down pit road this time around. And Lemieux, I think he's trying to risk his pit strategy here because this car has not been particularly fast all segment long. They may need to look at it in the mid-segment break. Driver we got to watch out for is Miller. We got to find him on track. He's currently scored a 6, but that was from the last lap interval. Let's see where he can slot in after this lap. He is fast because he has just pitted. He has fresh tires. These leaders have been out there for a little while. And I guess he's going to move up to 4th place. Got a little squirrely in there. I have the sinking suspicion that Miller may be able to regain his race lead. I'm not sure if staying out this long is helping these drivers. But these drivers will probably have to come down soon. I think Haynes is kind of sticking to the outside there. Is he going to come down pit lane? No, he's going to stay out yet another lap as Gabot is going to go down pit road. He's had enough. Lemieux going to follow as well. Fitzy off the lead lap there. And look at that last lap. A 1:10.991. 3/10 off his fastest lap of the race. Lemieux down the pit road speed. Got to take a look at Jake Haynes in the 76. He's been very impressive today, but he's been kind of a risk taker. And this is one of them in that 76 machine. He's been staying out for the longest on track. His lap times are about 3 seconds shorter, 3 seconds longer than Alex Miller, who now is going to inherit 2nd place. I can't imagine Haynes staying out any longer than this. This is really pushing his limits. I perceive that the 76 will come down this time, at least if he is rational about it. And there we go. He finally is going to make the plunge down pit road. Michael Norman staying out. He's going to gain his lap back, but it's only going to be for a short amount of time in the A&W machine. He will have to pit as well. He's been off cycle, so he does not have to worry immediately. Fitzy also should be able to get his lap back, as Haynes still has not reached his pit box yet. There he is. Fitzy will take his one of his laps back, and Miller will go to the race lead once again. I'm telling you, I think Miller is going to be unstoppable today. He's got a great car. He was running fast in the early going, and his biggest competitors were all sent off the lead lap. So for those just joining us, a couple of drivers have pulled out of this race so far. The number 5 of O'Neill Balvin for J-Man Motorsports. He unfortunately had an issue with his machine. Another driver that pulled out was Alex Wheeler for DJ Harris Motorsports. He drove the 74 car. And 2 other drivers that pulled out, Nathan Hudson in the 155, TA2 Racing, and Zachary Fitzwater for Team Navrar in the 979. So this race, not without casualty. Miller keeps it out front. Fitzy's actually running a decent lap time comparatively to him. So I don't see Fitzy getting a lap just yet. And look at Alonso. Running up in 2nd place right now. He's got a strong effort behind that 47 machine. And you know, wait a second. Oh, wait, sorry. I thought that was Jake Haynes. DeMax and he have similar race cars. DeMax coming down for his pit stop. I've got to find out where Haynes is slotted in. I believe he's 5th overall. It's not bad for him. Caps Crago up to 3rd place. I would say probably the biggest loser on these pit stops was probably Joseph Anesto. He comes down pit road again. Is there an issue with the number 113? I think they may have cut a tire, or maybe they have a lug nut loose or something. So Nesto, that is a shame for that team. They were one of the teams that could have won this event. Now they have to make an unscheduled pit stop to fix something. And DeMax has been on pit road for a long while. Did something go wrong with the number 98 machine? Here, let's figure this out. Oh, that's what went wrong. Onesto and DeMax made contact coming off the pit lane, and that's why Onesto is struggling. So let's get caught back up to speed here. As Miller in the 55 machine now loses another threat to his lead. Alonso in the 47 hasn't really been able to pick up much pace on him. DeMax still stuck on pit lane. I'm not sure if they're still trying to fix that thing or if they're going to be done for today. That will be a shame if DeMax not able to continue. He was hoping, just play it safe, ride it out. Fortunately, not going to be an option, and I don't see Onesto. Onesto has pulled his 113 behind the wall and out of this race. What a shame, especially for me, because I was driving that thing earlier today. So, we're going to have to do some strategy when I get out of the booth. I believe I am the next driver to go on track, so that's going to put us at a little bit of a disadvantage, since I'm not going to be able to get there for the team meeting. But maybe I can get what's your name? Parker? Parker. I'm going to need you to send me some notes from the NASCAR racing camp. Can you do that for me? I know your specialty is coffee, but notes, assume, are similar than coffee. Much more simple. So, thank you. So Parker is going to help me get some notes as to what the team is going to be doing. So I'll be reading those as I comment on the race. Let's go back up to the front here. Let's see if we can find some battles on the racetrack while I await those useful team notes. So this is probably one of the closest battles on track. Dom Capps trying to go after Jacob Crago in the 63. Dom Capps has had quite the event so far. It's been relatively quiet, but he's been running up near the front. One of those drivers that has a good shot at achieving victory today. We're getting relatively close to the half point of segment number 6. So this is going to be a good chance for these drivers, gauge where they are, see what they need to do to get to the last hour and get to the end of this segment and trade off their drivers. Why don't we do a quick through the field, starting with Alex Miller out front. Alex Miller in the 55 machine. Over the radio, he's been saying that this car is handling lovely. He's been very fast on track, hasn't had to worry about too much. The only thing that has been giving him a bit of the willies has been these lapped cars. Those can really affect you, as what happened to Joseph Onesto just moments ago. We see DeMax is back on the racetrack, so he will luck out there. He'll get to keep his 98 car running. But Miller, he says, the race car is handling fine. It's just a matter of how these competitors will do around him. Hergel Arvin Alonso in the 47 machine. Having a solid effort, he said this has not been their best race car, but he's liking the way this strategy's been working out. It's been getting him up near the front, and if he can time it right, there's a good chance he'll be up near the front, near the tail end of this segment. So, Alonso has good strategy behind his team. See if they can get that done. Jacob Crago in the 63 machine was having a great car early on, but he said the handling has been all off ever since. He's up in 3rd place right now, so it can't be too bad, but Crago has not been that happy over the radio. Crago is mostly in survival mode now. He's not really thinking he's going to win this one. He just wants to make sure that the 63 car gets to the next segment, where RJ Bishop can also take over. Team Arizona, both Arizona race car drivers. Right behind him is Dom Capps in the 11. Been very quiet over the radio, which, in layman's terms, is a good sign. Capps nothing to complain about in the 11, but I don't think he has much in the way of improvement either. So, 11 car looks mostly like he's going to be hanging out for most of this event. Jake Haynes in the 76. Really excited about this race. He wants to put on a good performance for this team, though the crew chief has been telling him to be careful because he does not want the 76 car to be wrecked after how well it's been performing this event. 76 car is going to go over to Joseph Srigley. All three of the drivers from Canada. The other driver, Dejan Weeks. So all three of them hoping to have a good run today. Haynes just needs to make sure he keeps a level head as he's going after the 11 of Dom Capps. Frederic Gabot in the number 4 machine, having a solid effort today. Not been that happy over the radio, however. He said this car is not as quick as he would like it. So Gabot hoping that Filipinos Racing Development can make some magic happen under this car for segment 7 for when Ferdinand Gabot takes over. Car trying to get by, Dante Lemieux, and that's not something we've been saying a lot today. Lemieux has been really struggling on track. He's been very off the pace, but I think they may have something fixed in the number 26. Look at how quick that lap time is, a 1:10.787. That is quite fast comparatively to other drivers. Granted, he was one of the later cars to pit, but this car has been really struggling to stay on the lead lap, so Lemieux having a solid effort in car number 26, the Frenchman. 8th place is Charles Sanford in the 152, said that this car is just evil. Hasn't been handling well at all race long. He's run into several issues throughout this event, and he's mostly just hoping that this segment can get over with. He wants to get out of this race car. Handed over to teammate Chris Washer. Tim Smith will finish out the run in this 152 if they can keep it going to the last segment. 9th place is Esteves Cortez. He was a little further up on track, but not the fastest pit stop for the 89 machine. Cortez, kind of infamously known for his Rallycross Series career, having a much better performance today. He's hoping that he can hush the naysayers and get himself a solid effort today in his number 89 machine. 10th place is Michael Norman. He is on the lead lap right now, but he will need the pit. He is incredibly off cycle. In fact, speaking of the devil, he is going to come down pit road right now. So Norman in 10th at the moment, but there's a good chance he might fall off the lead lap. I'm not sure if he will lose that position, though. We have to figure out where 11th place is and if they're on the same lap. Yeah, so Ryan Fitzy in the 49 machine is on lap 67. These guys are on 69. Yeah, he's a lap off the pace from them as Eugene DeMax goes down pit road. The 11th place, Ryan Fitzy. This race was looking a lot more grim for Fitzy after that wreck. It looks like he was going to finish near the very tail end of this field. 11th place, not bad considering. So Fitzy said this car's handling a lot better than it did earlier today. With a race this long, they have more opportunities to try and fix this race car. Fitzy relatively happy over the radio, but he said that he really wished that this day could have gone better for him. 12th place is Antiman in the number 13 machine. She is an entire lap behind Fitzy. Antiman not happy over the radio. She feels that this car is just evil, similar to Sanford. They've struggled heavily with this car, and I think 13 not a lucky number for this group. Let's find our 13th place driver. And it's Eugene DeMax in the number 98. DeMax going on pit road. Was able to recover from that crash damage that he and Onesto received. Very lucky for Eugene DeMax that he is not behind the wall right now. He will gain a position on Joseph Onesto as he's been out of the race for several laps now. DeMax has been able to continue. But DeMax, hoping that this day could have gone a lot better for him, was in the 24 Hours of Sebring, had a solid effort in the number 19 car there. But that's a completely different beast than this series. And I believe that rounds out everyone on track. Only 13 drivers left in this event, as Alex Miller still keeps his race lead. Let's see if Alonso has been catching up. No, he's not. He's been 3/10 slower this past lap. Not really gaining too much ground on him. Change for position. Dom Capps is going to get shuffled all the way back to 4th, and that just happened this lap. Let's see what happened to him. Oh! That's what went wrong. The 63 machine is going to blow up. Craigo said he's not been happy with this car, and I can see why. That damage has finally taken its toll on the engine. He's going to stall out on track. So we'll get you caught back up to where the action is live. Pass for not quite position. Advancement's going to go underneath Fitzy. Fitzy going down pit road. Couple drivers pitting. Alonso, who's off cycle, finally comes down pit road along with Fitzy. Which kind of shows these pit stops have been getting a little more frequent as time's went on. Well, actually, no. This has been about a 20-lap cycle. That's usually been these pit windows for these cars. Sonoma, a long racetrack. Not as long as some, but still a decent distance. A lot of up and downhill. A lot of taxing on fuel mileage. So this is going to help Eugene DeMax if he can stay in the show. I think Jacob Crago might be out of this one. I don't particularly see him continuing. So DeMax might move up to 12th place. Also will help Fitzy, as Fitzy will now be in the top 10 if Crago is to go out of this event. Miller's still on the racetrack. Still has some good laps behind him. Running a 112. Usually these cars tend to pit when they start running 113s. Jake Haynes has worked his way up to second place because of the ruckus involving Jacob Crago's car. And we scout pit road there, see if Crago's still on it. Still is. They're still trying to get that thing working. Be a real shame if they have to pull out. And look at this. Dante Lemieux in third place. He was struggling all race long. Barely could keep pace with the rest of the field. Now, he's looking at a podium for this segment. So Lemieux, being one of the most quiet cars on the racetrack, now a realistic threat for the win. I think perhaps he was just saving his resources early on and bluffing, making it look like something was going wrong, so that people wouldn't expect him. A lot of mind games get played in these races. You don't want the competitors to know what you're doing, what that strategy is that's getting you the good runs. So, Lemieux, very, very cool move for Oracle Racing and them. And in fact, I'm actually wrong about just two cars being split teams. I just realized here that Oracle Racing is a two-car effort. The only other car in there is Mark Riggleman. So Riggleman's going to be back for the next segment, and then Lemieux will round out the field. So hey, that's the driver that's going to be rounding out your event. I'm all for it. Haynes has quite a distance back of Miller. You see Miller here is entering that stock car stretch. Not running the full Sonoma circuit here. We're only running the stock car circuit. That was a choice by the promoters. Not sure why exactly they chose that, but maybe to be a little bit easier on these cars, given that it is an endurance event. But Haynes is quite a distance away. Miller is leaving the S's as Haynes is entering. Dom Capps to 4th place. Gabot rounds out your top 5. Sanford 6th, followed by Cortez 7th. Alonso in 8th, but he's got fresh tires. He should be able to make some passes. The 9th is Michael Norman. Fitzy is going to take over the 10th place spot once he catches up to Crago. And Crago has officially pulled his number 63 machine behind the wall. So it looks like Fitzy will be able to take that next lap if I'm not mistaken. Haynes gets by Antiman, who's been slowing him down a little bit these past couple of laps. Fitzy's his next target. So he was running a little faster. Haynes is, but only by 4/10. No cars diving for pit road just yet. We might see them start to come down around lap 75 to 80. Good way their fuel mileage is. Alonso, much faster than Cortez, but Cortez does not want to give up many positions. Alonso trying to the outside. Not going to work. You got to have a really strong race car to pass on the outside. I think a lot of these drivers just don't understand that. allows them to feel confident that they can muscle past. But that is a wider line, a little bit more of an uphill thing that slows the car down a bit. Cortez having the preferred line on track. So look at that. Right on the back bumper is Alonso. Hergel Alonso, a very aggressive race car driver. He's going to force Cortez out of the groove. Can he capitalize, though? Not going to get it done. Alonso checks up a bit. If you can outbrake your competitor, that could be a good passing zone, but not going to make it work. Up there he goes. Goes for a shot toward the left rear. But oh, Cortez fights back. I think Alonso doesn't realize that Cortez is also quite the aggressive race car driver. He was running Utica Home Track Series competition. He has share of tiffs with drivers. Though unfortunately did not last a long time, as Alonso is going to be able to get by him into the preferred lane. I think Cortez is going to have to let it go. No, he does not. He still keeps it double wide. But Alonso, alas, will get that position. So battle for 7th in favor of Alonso. Now Alonso should be able to pull away. He has much fresher tires. Sanford's his next target. Cars on pit road. Race leader Alex Miller. Dom Capps coming down as well. Will we see Cortez come down? No, he will not. This puts Jake Haynes in the race lead. Haynes noted for staying out a long distance of time. See how that can help him here. Now, the advantage he's had by late pitting is that his tires are fresher at the end of pit stops. He's been able to gain positions more quickly. But Alex Miller, pitting early, has been able to keep his lead. Now he's been able to pick off drivers as they're trying to come to pit road. So there's Capps. He's listed as 5th place on track. Miller's listed as 3rd. That just shows you how big of a lead he had. He actually cycled out ahead of Alonso and Cortez. Lemieux up to 2nd place. Charles Sanford coming down pit lane in the 152, making his pit stop. Alex Miller is going to get the drop on him. I think barring any issue, I think Miller is probably our favorite to win this event. I know it's a little early. He has such a solid race car underneath him. Sits 4th overall on the racetrack. Sanford still making his pit stop. Gotta check to see what Jake Haynes will do. Canadian. Will he come down pit road this time around? He's going to still keep on track. Same for Lemieux. I think the main hope is that at the 3-hour mark, we're not sure what lap that's going to be on. I think they're hoping that the clock will end somewhere in the midst of green flag pit stops. That's what will result in a change of the guard and allow them to take the victory away. Some dust flying in this corner. What happened here? Was it Antiman? Cortez coming down pit road. I don't see anyone on pit lane. So I'm going to assume that Antiman may have gotten off track a bit. This car has been having difficulty staying on the racing surface. It's been a real fight for the 13 machine. Path for not position. Michael Norman is going to gain a position on track for him, but not going to move up in the rankings. He's still going to be 9th. He is a lap off the pace. Haynes stays out. Lemieux is going to make the trek down pit lane. Norman stays out. Gabot decides it's his turn to go down pit lane. Here comes Alex Miller, trying to get through the S's. High probability he will catch up to Lemieux and take the position away. The thing here is a very slow pit lane, only 30-something miles per hour as our pit lane speed. So Miller will take it. Find out where Haynes is. Haynes has pulled off a huge lead on Miller. Well, this is something that Miller could catch up to. I think if Haynes could pit now, there could be a chance that he will stay out front, but Haynes has been pretty persistent on his pit strategy. He's been over the radio saying that this is how long I'm staying out. I really don't want to change that. And he's going to stay out yet another lap. Let's see where Miller is on track. He's just entering the S's, while Haynes is going to make his way through the hairpin. So about half the racetrack is the gap between first and second place. If you look here, Cortez is actually on par with Norman at the moment, though Norman will have to pit a little prematurely. Cortez has fallen off that lead lap. He should be able to continue, however. A little bit of smoke over here. Not sure what went wrong over there. Don't see any cars off track, so it looks like everything's fine. Maybe Haynes got a little bit into the dry stuff. Well, it's lap 81. Almost an hour and 50 minutes into this event, and Haynes is going to finally come down pit road. Now this will be the question. Will this be the strategy that keeps Haynes in the lead? Will he prove everyone wrong? So Antman gains a lap back. Cortez and Norman will get back on the lead lap. Here comes Miller. Haynes is going to have to make his way to his pit stall. He pits relatively close to the end. Crew going to work, but Miller has made up that gap. He is quite fast. A 1:10.929 his last time around. He will take the race lead back. I think Alonso is going to take second place as well. Hergel Alonso up to second. Can Haynes come out with third? Here comes Lemieux. I think he's a little too far back. Lemieux is fast, so is Caps. Yikes, Lemieux! He tried going a little too quick to catch up to Haynes. He's going to lose a spot to Caps. Lemieux's been running a smart race so far. He shouldn't be risking it like that. That could have been messy. So now, Alex Miller in the 55 machine is your race leader, followed by Hergel Arvin Alonso, Jake Haynes, Dom Caps in the 11, Dante Lemieux, Frederic Gabot, Charles Sanfer, Esteves Cortez, and Michael Norman, the 9 cars on the lead lap. DeMax comes off pit lane. 10th place, we have Ryan Fitzy in the 49. Naira Antiman up to 11th place, despite a no-handling race car. Eugene DeMax in 12th. And only 12 cars remain in this event, as Jacob Krega was the last car to pull his car behind the wall. The other cars that are out of this race are Balvin, Onesto, Wheeler, Hudson, and Fitzwater. So a decent race of attrition thus far. This has been a great effort for Alex Miller in the 55 machine. Been playing it smart. The car has been running flawlessly. Haven't had many issues on track. I don't even think they've gotten into many drivers. Miller's coming up on Eugene DeMax. They just come off pit road. There is a car on pit lane. That is Antiman. We're expecting her to come down. See if we can find any good battles on the racetrack. Closest one seems to be the fight between these three cars. Though that 76 machine seems to have fresher tires. He actually went much slower that lap comparatively. Antiman's going to enter the racetrack without issue. Good sign there. We don't want to see any off-pit road contact. That's been a difficult spot. It's a very odd place to merge. Because you see that line there enters the racetrack going into the turn. And these drivers up front want to use that bottom line there. Keep on track. So probably one of the most difficult pit exits you'll find. Pass to lap Eugene DeMax in the 98 car. He's going to get that done with ease. DeMax still struggling from damage in that wreck with Onesto. Alonso not going to be able to catch up just yet. Still seems to be a gap between those drivers battling behind the leaders. Haynes still staying out ahead of this group though. And I think that's where we're going to decide this winner. If Miller is going to be out front when we get toward the end of the 3 hours, then it's going to be game over there. But if there needs to be pit stops near the end of this event, Haynes has a great chance of taking over that race lead and thus getting the victory, starting on point for segment 7. And Srigley will like that, I'm pretty sure. A little bit of a dust-up on the racetrack as Norman's now ahead of Miller. Miller's going to get by him. Last lap was pretty slow. What happened to Michael Norman? Let's find out. Did he get off track at all, or is he having an issue? Oh, he's just been very slow these past couple of laps. Let's get you caught up with the main action once again. Yeah, this car is really petering off in speed. I'm worried that Norman may have an issue. They did have several problems throughout this event. Yeah, he's getting passed by DeMax. I'm not sure if he's just really stayed out a long time on his tires, or if they're having an issue in that car. Maybe a cylinder down, or he's running about 100 miles per hour there. Alonso a little faster. Kind of a difficult part to gauge whether or not he's running at full speed. Take a look on the straightaway, and yeah, he is coming down pit road. Norman has been stretching it on fuel, so I can see why he was that far off pace. So Miller still out front. Check his lap time. It's a 1:11.321. That's about a second faster than Alonso. But Haynes is quicker than he on the racetrack. So after 20 laps, can Haynes get close enough where he can take that lead away? That's the other advantage here. Haynes is running faster than Miller for about 20 or so laps, where Miller is only quicker on those pit stop laps. So this could be something that decides the race further along the line. And there are a lot of unknowns here. as we still have a little over an hour of racing left to go. Here, what we're going to do now is we're going to go on board with Dom Caps, give you a view of this racetrack from the roof cam. See, we're going to get you started off running this section of the course, going through these uphill sections, see what the climb is like. There are the lighting structures. They've really done a lot of work to wire this up. A lot of those are temporary lighting. As Caps works his way around this corner, very tight right-hander. Then you rock your way into the S's. This part can get pretty quick. You have to make sure you keep car control, however. This is a very thin portion of the racetrack, especially if you're running with several other drivers. Watch out here as well, because you have a relatively straight portion over there. Kind of a shortcut way. That is an illegal area here. I'm surprised they didn't put some cones up for that. These drivers have to make sure they don't take the wrong route. Though, hey, they've been running around this for 88 laps so far. It's been basically attributed to muscle memory. We head through that tight hairpin, come to the line. Then we work our way around the circuit again through this very tight uphill corner. Caps is going to gain a lot of ground in this portion of the track. Could he get by Jake Haynes? Very spirited move by Caps. Now closer to the back bumper of the 76 machine. This could affect Haynes' strategy greatly if Caps is able to get in front of him. Another group of cars on track, not a battle, but Gabot trying to work his way around the number 13 machine. Even with fresh tires, that 13 car has been about a second slower than the rest of the field. Let's watch out for Caps here, because this latter half of the course is where he can really gain ground. So Haynes is going to work his way into the first couple of corners. Can Caps catch up going up the hill? Edges it down a little bit. Didn't get that same boost as he did last time. These three cars are probably the closest on the racetrack to each other. Gabot in 6th place, going to get around Antonin on the front stretch. Now he should start pulling away. I'm not sure if he's going to catch that main group of cars, but one less slow car to deal with. So we are on lap number 90. Pit stops happened around lap 75, so good chance we may see more pit stops as we head closer to lap 100. So the clock will be ticking for these drivers as we're going to be heading into the last hour in a little bit. So keep an eye out on that. This is when these drivers are going to get really desperate, really try and make some moves happen. Should be no more Mr. Nice Guy at the tail end of this segment. Then we're going to have segment 7 coming up shortly. That should be fun. And of course segment 8 where we crown our winner. For those who have not checked out the 24-hour race from last year, the 24-hour race of last year was held at the Sebring Speedway in Florida. Another multi-channel event. It's covered by many different top-notch commentators. And at the end of it, the 83 machine ended up going to victory lane. Alyssa Kirby was behind the wheel, able to take home the victory. I believe Matt Dool also sharing that car. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Thomas Beatty. It's been a while, however, since that event has occurred. But a very solid day for the 83 machine. Didn't win any segment until the last one. were able to make it work. It had a couple close calls too. There were a couple times where they ended up stuck on pit road trying to fix some damage. There was an attempt on position as Dante Lemieux tried to go around Dom Capps in the number 11 machine, but Capps was able to drive out of the hairpin with enough speed to keep his position. But Lemieux has been really hounding him these past couple of laps. Once the second half of the race started, Lemieux has really picked it up in his aggression level, driving the number 26 Corvette. Let's take a look at what the gap is. Miller is just entering the S's, while Haynes was going through the top half of the course. So this is a much closer battle than it was earlier in the event, because Miller almost had an entire half of the racetrack on these competitors. They're still keeping out front. There is Norman on pit road, and so is Fitzy. That is unusual for Norman. So I think something must have gone wrong with Norman's machine. Let's figure out what happened. See if there's anything, or maybe they just cut a tire. Shame if they got some contact in the number 12. I don't see any issue with the number 12 machine. Let's get you caught back up to the live action. But Fitzy coming down pit road. He re-enters the racetrack. He's in 10th place. Go around to the top 5, and Alonso has made his pit stop, so a couple drivers have gained position because of that. So will we see pit stops now? Some of our off-cycle guys have come down pit lane. No, I don't think we'll see them now. We might see them in a couple laps, perhaps, as we start approaching lap 100. But I doubt we will see your leaders come down just yet. Fitzy re-enters the course in front of Gabot. Sanford has caught up to Antiman. It's a little faster, but Antiman running similar lap times to him. Antiman did pit later than him, however. Miller still out front in the 55 machine, an absolutely dominant performance. Ever since the early mayhem of this event settled down, and Fitzy was taken out of commission, Miller has led this handedly. The only time he's lost it is during pit stops, so this is at the moment Miller's race to lose. So he has a huge gap over the rest of the field. Across the finish line there as these guys were exiting the S's as a big lead, but not as big as he would like considering how slow these cars go down pit road, how easy it is to catch up. The battle between these three has calmed down a bit. They were trying to get by each other for position, but I think they're all just trying to save it now. Well, as I say that, Capps runs it a little wide. And I think Lemieux wants to see if he can capitalize. Not going to get it done. Though he is quite up to the back bumper of the 11 machine. Here we have to watch for Miller. See if he might come down pit lane. Fuel mileage hasn't been incredibly long on these cars. Not going to come down yet. So one unfortunate thing for Michael Norman is that, he was still hanging close to 1 lap off the pace, being able to stay there. Now he's 2 laps off the pace. So there's not really much chance of him catching up to drivers. Like, he was able to pass Cortez for a brief while, but unfortunately for him, must have had a tire go down. That's what I'm hearing. So Norman is going to lose some ground on the racetrack. Still ninth, but now 10th place of Fitzy's ever closer. Though he still has a little bit of ways to go. Cortez is the last car on the lead lap in 8th place. He's going through the hairpin as Alex Miller works his way through the S's. Miller's running a 1:13, so that's why I'm thinking he's going to pit soon. And he will pit this lap. So we're going to get you through these pit stops and then take our second commercial break of segment number 6. So how will this shape the race? Here comes Jake Haynes. He stays out, but Dom Capps is going to pit. So that throws Capps off the cycle that Lemieux is on. Next car in line is Gabot. Will he pit? He will pit as well. I think a lot of them are staying with the Miller strategy for this lap. So Sanford stays out, Alonso stays out, though he was expected. Cortez is the next car. We have to see if he's going to come down pit road. And he's going to stay on the racetrack. So now, Haynes is in the lead, Lemieux is in second. Haynes has been noted for staying out on track, but he is running a 1:13 lap, which is a typical sign for these drivers to head down pit road. That's usually when their tires start to get worn. Haynes will stay out, so will Lemieux. Lemieux, I think, is going to go with Haynes' strategy. I think he feels it's going to work. Sanford, he'll move up to 3rd place if he stays out on the racetrack. If not, he will shuffle back in with the rest of the field. What is Sanford going to do? Is he going to pit just yet? Or will he stay out? It looks like he will come down pit road. Miller staying out on the racetrack. Alonso will as well. Alonso right to the back bumper of Miller. If he can make it work, might be able to get by him, get some position. Cortez is going to come down pit road as well. He's the 7th place car. There's Haynes, your race leader. A lot of signs are pointing that he'll either come down this lap, the next lap, or lap 100. Not going to be able to stay out longer than that. Same with Lemieux. Only 2 lead lap cars to not pit. And they both stay out this time around. As they enter the hairpin, Miller enters the S's. Now, this has been proven that this is not a gap that they would really like to have. It's Cortez working his way off pit road. He will fall a lap down. Should be able to get it back, though, when the leaders come down pit lane. See if anyone else is going to come down pit road before them. Michael Norman has pitted twice. I think he's going to be good for now. I don't see him pitting just yet. I don't even think he really wants to. DeMax might make the trip down pit road. He's running a 1:13 lap time. Sitting in 12th. It's been a while since he's made the trek down pit lane. He's been kind of getting closer to the cycle of these race leaders. Though not right now. Six cars currently on the lead lap. Haynes and Lemieux staying out yet again. They're going to try and stretch to the lap 100. I will be very surprised if they try to stretch out any further than that. Miller is gaining on their lap times because they're running 113s. Miller's running a 111. Alonso going to work his way past Antiman, but he's not going to be able to catch Miller, I don't feel. Even when both were on the same cycle, Alonso has been relatively slow in comparison. So lap 100. About 2 hours in this event. We're going to be heading toward the final stretch. We're going to continue with this pit road cycle, see what happens to Haynes and Lemieux, and then we'll head to our commercial break. Hit the bumper there a bit. Oh! DeMax is going to have an issue. We'll check into that. As we see Haynes and Lemieux go down pit road. Cortez will get his lap back. Fitzy will get one of his several laps down back. And here comes Miller. I feel he will most likely get his lead back, as these guys have not actually made it to their pit boxes yet. Lemieux will be credited as the leader of that lap. But Miller will take over the race lead. So let's figure out what happened to Eugene DeMax while pit stops continue. Oh, he was battling with Charles Sanford. He was holding up Sanford in that machine. Sanford just sends him off track into the wall. And DeMax, I think that's going to be terminal. He is going to be done for today. So this has been an unfortunate day for DeMax. Problem after problem. 98 car. Most likely going to lose one of its machines in their stable. So let's see how everything will cycle out after these pit stops as they start to head toward the line. Car number 55, Alex Miller, is going to be a shoo-in for your race leader. As he works his way through the hairpin. 55 car out front. So it's going to be Miller, Alonso, Caps, who may have actually did the right thing by going with a different pit strategy. Fourth place will be Haynes. Still keeps him in a good position. Lemieux will cycle back to 5th place. 6th will be Frederick Abot. Sanford back to 7th. Cortez in 8th. 9th place will be Michael Norman. 10th is going to be Ryan Fitzy. And 11th will be Naira Antiman. And only 11 vehicles still left in this segment. So, we're going to have 1 hour left. Miller in the 55 car leads. Thank you for watching. We will be back after these commercial messages.